Hello, my name is Andrea Brown. I go by Andy for short. I'm a customer service and sales professional of the last 10 years. Um, I started my professional career as an administrative assistant at Sylvan Learning Center, which is a learning and development program for children and students who would like to either catch up or advance in certain subjects, including ACT prep and SAT prep. I started on the administrative team of 4 that actually grew to a team of 6 after about 8 months, and that's when I was promoted to the position of administrative lead. Some of our responsibilities included, actually, the Sylvan Learning Center that I worked at was the national call center that governed all of the divisional call centers throughout the United States. It was our job to take initial phone calls. So we took calls, we did data entry, we did faxing, we did extensive record keeping, we did mail outs to those prospects that were gained, and we did follow-ups to the prospects whose business were not yet gained. And we kept in touch with those prospects until their business was gained. So as an administrative lead, my responsibilities were basically the same, but I was to supervise a team of 5. And also I started to work very closely with the center manager as far as building her sales force, because I did all of the reports, the statistics, we did the quotas and the expectations of what she wanted from her sales team. I did that for the Texas call center, and I also did that for all of the divisional call centers. My center manager was the manager of all of the divisional managers in the United States. So hands-on, I learned about how to make money doing sales. We did paperwork as to the progress of the sales team, as well as expectations of what we wanted. I also did payroll, so I was aware of what kind of money these people were making. After a year and a half of working closely with my center manager, I found out that she did appreciate my clerical, my office skills, and my managerial skills. But she also recognized the energy in me that she wanted to put onto her sales force. And that's what she did. After 3 months on the Salesforce, working part-time Salesforce and part-time on the administrative team, I went full-time sales and have pretty much been in sales and customer service ever since. The call center was shut down in Texas, and they moved it to another state. So that's when my tenure ended at Sylvan Learning Center. I began selling Kirby's at that time. I actually began as a door knocker, so I'm still the front line of the business, generating leads, getting salespeople into houses, and letting them do their demos. The same thing pretty much happened at Kirby. I was a door knocker for about 6 months, and after helping people, I would put the salespeople in the house. After they did the sale, I would go back in, show the people how to use it, or I would go back in to help them close the deal. Even though I didn't know how to sell Kirby's, I was riding around with my team lead all the time and going in houses with him, watching him close deals, so I learned how to close deals. And soon after, I was a full-time sales associate at Kirby, and very appreciative for everything I learned. I worked with a world-renowned teacher and motivational speaker, awesome man named Jeff Romeo. May have heard of him, may not. But changed my life, taught me things that I will value as a person and as an employee forever. I was totally grateful for that experience. However, when I became pregnant with my first child, I realized that hopping out of vans and lugging around this huge cleaning system and doing 2-hour demos was no longer ideal for me. So after I had my daughter, with the connections I had in the apartment industry, because my mother and my sisters and my aunts are all in the apartment industry, I started with Star Personnel as a leasing consultant. And the work was just really, really steady. I was a great salesperson, so a lot of times I was sent to properties where they wanted the occupancy up. And that's what I did. I moved around doing temporary positions for about a year. And then I took a permanent position at King Landing. it was Oak Valley when I took the position. It became King Landing at Oak Valley after 6 months when the property was sold. We did a great job at King Landing. My responsibilities included showing and leasing empty units, turning units, which means getting them ready after someone has moved them out. I did marketing. We did market surveys. I have very close relationships with the locators in Arlington, Euless, and Grand Prairie. I worked there for about a year. After 6 months, when Oak Valley was sold and became King Landing at Oak Valley, we were told our jobs were secure, and we filled up the property. We got GPR up, which is gross per resident, and 6 months later, he hired a new management team, and they brought in their own staff. So it was back to looking for another position for me. After a year of getting apartments ready, and because I had some expendable income from selling Kirby's, I flipped my first home. After getting apartments ready forever, I was like, why can't I, flip a house? Since I had the means and I had the opportunity, I did that. I made a nice piece of change. And since I wasn't able to get the promotion that I was looking for at King Landing, I did want to expand on my knowledge of real estate in the way of credit, loans, financing, investments, and things like that. So I landed a position at Wells Fargo as a phone banker. My position there included taking incoming calls, one call resolution, customer service, and it was also my job to try to turn that call into a sale of another product or service. Loved the job there. I've always loved customer service and sales. I love working with people. I love the people that I work with and the people that I helped. However, the bonuses that were presented in the beginning when the job was offered to me ended up coming very few and far between. The expectations of a Wells Fargo phone banker are not impossible, but we're targeting people. We want to sell products and services, so of course we're targeting people who have money and have credit. And the realization of it is that we're in a technology-driven world, and those people who have the money and have the credit also have the luxury of internet, iPhones, iPads, and mobile banking, and there's Swipe, and there's Windows 7, and these people just aren't calling the phone bank that often. And I found that when they do, it was either because they thought they were missing money, being overcharged, or their tablet had broken down. So it was my job to, fix their problem and then try to turn that into a sale of a CD or a refinance. It happened, just not as much as I would have liked it to. And I was still thirsty for knowledge, and I was thirsty for wanting to know more about real estate, more about financing, more about loans, and I wasn't able to move up in the company. I brought lots of revenue into Wells Fargo, but apparently it was not enough for them to allow me to grow in the company. So I made some connections, made some phone calls to my connections, and I was offered an assistant management position at Westwood Apartments, which I jumped on. It was a great experience. My responsibilities included, of course, being the leasing agent. I was the leasing agent and the assistant manager. So leasing duties and then assistant manager duties, which included record keeping, accounts payable, payroll, and collections, basically. The job there, I made tremendous changes, kept occupancy up, did crime watch meetings, organized crime watch meetings, organized resident retention activities, and after 4 months, my regional manager was fired. I don't know what happened. After 5 months, my manager was fired. And the new manager that was brought in, after 5 months, we just didn't vibe. What can I say? The lady just didn't like me. She was old school and she was hard up, and we just didn't vibe. And I lost my job for reasons that I believe